This is the preview of the Cliff Lounge division. I'm Jetty Cain Jr. Let's start with Archie Knucklehead.
So previewing the Cliffs Lounge division, I'm going to start with the division champ, the Murder Street Legends, coached by Coach Calvin Washington. One thing I got to say about the Murder Street Legends, there is a star on every level of his team. Quarterback, A-Rod. RB1, DJ. Receiver, Devontae Adams. Tight end, Zach Ertz. Defense, Minnesota Vikings. He is star-studded. But the one thing you find when you really look at his depth, he's going to start to have problems. I think he's really, really top heavy, but the top half of his team could carry him a very long way, possibly winning the division again, making a playoff run, and even a shot at the title. I like Murder Street Legends' chances. Coach got to coach him up, but he got stars at every level.
And I'm going to preview Coke Boys. New coach, new team.
Yep.
Not quite expansion, very, very familiar. I think Coke Boys had a pretty good draft, man. I like the Odell Marvin Garden combination. You know, that's two top 5 to top 10 talents in both of their relative fields. The pick I don't really like is Doug Baldwin and his uncertainty with his health. Reading up on Doug Baldwin, I wasn't sure if he was going to be even available for week 1, but I think he is. But I think I seen a segment on RotoWire, if I'm not mistaken, that said that he won't even be 100% at no point this season. So that could really put him in a pickle. He has Eli Manning. That can be up and down. You know, Eli Manning is a 2-time champion, but Eli also has led the league in interceptions in many years. So, with that being said, I think that his team is very, very good, can be good, but I think overall he's a middle of the pack team in the division.
We call him the Coca-Cola boy. Shout out to Pep though. Camera on me real quick. Got to give a shout out to the head coach of the Coke Boys. Came through for the draft party. We appreciate it.
Much appreciated, Mr. Williams. Much appreciated. And to Ank Spot.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing, man? Yeah, I'll be talking about you play to win the game. I think they had a real good draft, man. Real good draft. I like the running backs that he came home with. Alvin Kamara, Shady McCarr, and sheesh. You talk about receptions. Sheesh. And he got Derrick Henry for the workload, you know. So, of course, I like those 3. But the 3 that really jumps off the page, to me, is the A.J. Mike Evans, Demaryius Thomas. That can be scary. Knowing A.J. Green, every time we turn on the TV, you see A.J. to the 40, 30, 20. You know the drill. You know, so that could be scary. And Mike Evans, Jameis Winston. That's the only question mark I have by him. Mike Evans is a great talent. I think he's a walking 1,000-yard receiver. I think his upside depends on his quarterback, though. And I think Demaryius Thomas has a way better year than he had last year, being that he actually has a quarterback this year with Case Keenum. The one thing I'm not going to say it's a weak spot because he's a sensational talent and he's one of our own as a Florida Gator, so we have a separate type of love for him. But the question mark on you play the game to win is Jordan Reed. His health. Can he play for 16 games? How long will he last? I'm wondering, can that be a hole or can he be a star? All those receivers, the playhouse is open for fun and TDs.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you to play the game is coached by Mr. Tremont Shakesnyder, and we'll be back to Archie Knucklehead.
Let you take this. So up next, I'm gonna preview All I Do Is Win, coached by Danny Harris. I have to say, his draft, he acquired a collection of talent. He got the greatest to ever do it, Tom Brady at the helm, right? He took he jumped out there and took Saquon Barkley when everybody had the question mark by it, right? When do you take him? He jumped out there and took him, and he's gonna depend on it. He has Julio. He got Jimmy with A-Rod. I think that's gonna be very, very productive. So he has talent all across the board. He made really good picks at really good times. Taking Nelson Aguilar, I think that kid's gonna have a huge season. And that was a really good pick for him. I know a lot of coaches wanted to pick him at that time, and he swooped in and got him. But there are question marks about Peyton Barber and Jordy Nelson in the middle of the draft. Man, but we'll see. You know, Jordy may still have some in the tank. Peyton Barber may be able to hold off the Jones kid, who's now third on the depth chart, even though they talk highly of him. I really do think All I Do Is Win. He was a really good contender last year. He fought in a lot of games. He was in a lot of games. And I think he'll be able to contend this year, possibly making a playoff push. I think some things changed in the division a little bit, and he may be able to get in with the team he currently has. And the last team we're going to talk about, Jordy's party. We're going to have to see. He spent some money on him. He went out and got him. And the last team we're going to talk about is Walk On Air. Walk On Air is a new addition to the Murder Cherry Fantasy Football League, coached by Coach C.L. Grogan, and they play at what he said they play at. I think he just built a new facility. Let me pull up the name so I don't disrespect him. The Sugar Ridge Superdome. So it's going to be loud in there this fall. But Coach Grogan, I have to say, solid team, solid coach. I think he got talent all over the field. When you look at some of the players he has, Drew Brees, you know he's going to be, he's going to put some touchdowns in the end zone. He got the connection to Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, Drew Brees may produce a bunch of points this year. He also has the collection of running backs that he likes. He has Hunt, T.Y. Hilton at receiver, so he's pretty built, man. Juice Landry as a flex, Delaney Walker at tight end. Miller at the other running back. I think he put together a team, and we expected that. Knowing him from other leagues, knowing how he coaches, the things he think about, I really thought he was going to put together a team. I think this could be a team that may compete in the Cliffs Lounge division, possibly win the division. I think he's going to make the playoffs. Solid team. He's going to be a tough beat, but he is beatable, just like everybody in the league. He got a coach, but he has a solid team. He got talent all over the field.
Who that? And bless him.
They're gonna have to. I think there's gonna be a lot of points scored coming out of the Superdome. So we'll see. What's y'all predictions on this division, man? Where y'all want to start?
What you think, Ank Spot? Who you think will take home the Cliff Lounge division?
I like that Coach Calvin Washington, man. If I had to bet on anybody, I'd have to bet on Calvin Washington, man. He won the division last year, and he put together a well-rounded team. Will it be easy for him? Probably not. Do I think some other teams from our division will make the playoffs with Calvin Washington? Yes, I do believe that.
Who are those other two teams? If there's two.
If I had to pick two, just straight off my head, I would have to say it's Walk On Air and You Play to Win the Game. Two well-rounded teams that I'll be looking out for the two times that I played them.
Yeah. And the pick I'm gonna go with, I really like Walk On Air's roster. I know that he's a composed coach. I know he's been to the mountaintop before, and I know he knows what it feels like to win. So I know what he expects out of his team. I also like you play to win the games roster. The question with that is, being that he fired his whole staff last year.
Tough season.
Yeah, very, very tough season. He had talent, just didn't really pan out for him well. So the question is, I noticed last year he had some players that he should have played when he didn't. So the question is, I don't think the roster is the question for you play to win the game. I think it's the coach's decision of who he's going to play. And I think that he drafted his team particularly to play the guys that he drafted. So that he don't even have to really think about who he needs to play. He knows who he needs to plug and play here and there with Duke Johnson and Tyreek Cohen, and the connection he also has with Cameron Newton and Devin Funchess. So I think Coach Washington, Coach Shake Snyder, and Coach Grogan, those three guys are going to battle it out for the Cliff Lounge division.
I think I'm gonna be a little bold here. I think outright, you play to win the game, wins this division this year. I think the team he has put together, Coach Shake Snyder, the 3x3 formation he's gonna come out in is gonna be really, really hard to beat on a week in and a week out basis. So I got him as the number one team coming out that division. After that, I think it becomes a real fight for second and third. I think they may get 2 teams into the playoffs. I mean, 3 teams into the playoffs. It could possibly be 4 with some of the talent they got there. If it stretches to 4, I think the 4 that'll get in. You play to win the game, walk on there, Murder Street Legends and Coke Boys, if they get 4. I think they could potentially get 4. Like I said, I think all I do is win is going to be competing too. I don't see 5 teams coming out of one division. I don't think it'll be that type of situation. But if I had to pick 3, I really like to play to win the game and win the division. I think he's going to be the most solid, most consistent every week. Followed by, I like walk on there, and I think it's going to be a fight between the Coke Boys and the Murder Street Legends to close out. And I think they'll definitely get 3 and possibly 4. I really like that division this year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, a fun division to watch.
They sleep on me, man.
You got anything to add, Ank Spot, about the division? Closing out.
I think it'll be a very interesting division, to say the least. All the coaches have tremendous respect for each other, so it should be some good battles. But if I had to bet the house on anything, I think I'll go with Coach Washington, man. One thing about him, he's back in Green Bay this year. So I know what that means.
Discount double check.
Discount double check.
Yeah. It may not be the same though. You think it's the same without Jordan?
I think it's potentially better with Devontae Adams and the Jimmy Graham. We're not gonna leave Randall Cobb and the other guys we have as well, but those 2 guys, especially Devontae Adams and Jimmy Graham, I think that's a lot of touchdowns in the making. And I'm looking forward to Coach Washington every week, really talking big about it, because that was the base of his draft. He had a plan from the beginning and he stuck with it, His first 3 picks, we heard him since July. A lot of people thought they were smoke screens, but they came to light, so we'll just see if everything that the money paid for.
I like it. Close us out.
Yeah,
man. Take us home.
So closing out, man, got a bold prediction. Le'Veon Bell gonna return week 4. Allegedly.
I got a bold prediction. My bold prediction is Shady McCoy gets suspended week 5. Mark it down.
Allegedly.
All right, so I guess I'll give a bold prediction. My bold prediction, Le'Veon Bell sits out the maximum 10 games. Ouch.
Allegedly.
Man, we out, man.